What if I told you that marketing in 2025 looks a lot more like marketing in 2005 than it does in 2015? And what if I told you that the tricks used to game algorithms are losing power, and the brands that win are the ones that embrace strategies from 20 years ago? Sounds interesting and weird. Let me explain more in this video. Hi there, I'm Jason Patel, the co-founder and CEO of OpenForge AI, and we help your business get seen, cited, and selected by AI search engines. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You get the latest tips, strategies, and guides on how to 10x your marketing and win in the age of AI. Let's get started. Let's talk about the $100 billion to $1 trillion shift. Now, SEO in the 2000s created a $100 billion industry. It rewired how we build websites, write content, structure data, and measure performance. It created job categories, agencies, conferences, and entire software ecosystems. And now a new force is rising. Generative Engine Optimization, GEO, otherwise known as Answer Engine Optimization, AEO. We'll call it GEO in this video. Now, GEO isn't just a sequel to SEO. It's an evolution, something much more lucrative, and it's creating a $1 trillion industry. The money flows where attention consolidates, and AI search is consolidating attention and leading to a behavior change amongst buyers. But here's the simplest way to think about it. SEO ranked pages by signals like keywords, crawlability, internal linking, and backlinks. And GEO ranks helpful answers by signals like user intent satisfaction, credible brand mentions, and demonstrated expertise across multiple ecosystems and surfaces. In other words, old SEO asks, does this page match the query? And what are the keywords? GEO asks, does this brand solve the user's job according to the wider web and real customer data? So why is marketing returning to 2005? Back then, at the very beginning, you couldn't just stuff keywords and buy a stack of suspicious, spammy, irrelevant links. You needed people to talk about you. You need to show up in person, host meetings, speak at events, attend meetups, join communities, and create content that actually helped. It's called value exchange. And value exchange wasn't just a buzzword, it's the whole game. You gave the market something useful, and then the market rewarded you with attention, trust, referrals, revenue, and of course, profit. It's the beauty of capitalism. This dynamic from 2005 is coming back. It's not because platforms are nostalgic, but it's because AI search engines reward evidence of real-world usefulness, i.e. matching user intent. When a user asks a complex, high-intent question, generative engines don't want thin content or extremely generic top-of-funnel posts or recycled cliches. They want living, breathing proof. So expert commentary, customer stories, product comparison, third-party write-ups, and yes, credible, relevant links that mean something. You can't really fake that with a link farm or a link ecosystem. You earned it or you didn't. So GEO versus SEO, what really did change? Generative engines process language and context with far greater nuance, hence the rise of natural language learning. They can evaluate whether your content matches the intent behind a question, we have a bunch of videos on this, and not just the literal phrasing. They can weigh the authority of the voices talking about you. And they do this by not only counting the volume of the domains. AI will be able to assemble a consensus view across multiple sources and infer confidence and patterns in how you're referenced. And so in GEO, brand mentions matter more than ever, and not all mentions are equal. What counts is relevance, proximity to the topic, and the credibility of the source. A thoughtful case study from a respected industry publication beats a dozen irrelevant domain rating 90 links from sites that never actually use your product. Remember, AI search engines are trying to help the user, not your vanity metrics. If your brand doesn't appear in the conversations experts and customers are having, you're going to be invisible. Think of AI as an arms race. ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity and the others are trying to grow faster than ever. They want to make their customers happy so their customers come back to them, not a competitor. Which means it's really hard to game this whole process. Technical quality still matters. It always will matter. Clean information architecture, performing pages, structured data, clear headings, source citations, but the shortcut era is ending. You can't game generative engines with spammy third-party irrelevant links, regardless of how high their domain ratings are. You can't do this with generic, over-optimized, over-polished posts. AI is trained to detect redundancy and reward genuine signal over noise. If all you got is a shiny content or link farm, you're not just losing, you're going to eventually train the models to ignore you. And that's why live in-person events are suddenly powerful again. When you put people in a room, run a workshop, teach a masterclass, or present at an industry meetup, three things happen. First, you create memorable moments that turn into social proof. Second, you spark authentic coverage. Attendees will post recaps, partners write highlights, journalists cite quotes. And third, you build relationships that lead to real mentions on relevant sites. This cascading trail of evidence is the oxygen of GEO. And brand mentions are the new backlinks. Think of brand mentions as a blended metric. Reputation, recurrence, and relevance. Reputation is who's talking about you. Recurrence is how often you're discussed across time and channels. And relevance is whether the context matches your category and key problems. When those three line up, AI engines will assign confidence that you can deliver a good, succinct answer for the user. And that's why value exchange matters so much. The easiest way to earn credible mentions is to give people something worth citing. It could be original research, clear frameworks, comparison breakdowns, interactive tools, or honest points of view. You don't need a 1,000,000-person survey. You can just survey a dozen customers. What matters is what the market wants. If the market repeats your phrasing, borrows your frameworks, or quotes your findings, you've created an information asset that machines recognize and humans trust. But here is the uncomfortable part for performance teams. The attribution is getting messy. AI search engines disintermediate the traditional funnel. In other words, a buyer can ask an AI a series of private questions over weeks. Best options for X. What do experts say about Y? What are the trade-offs between A and B? Who has the strongest proof for this use case? They'll learn about you in those sessions, close the tab, go live their life, and then come back later ready to buy after they thought about it. And this is all without a pixel telling you which prompt started. But this does not mean marketing is broken. In fact, it reinforces the importance of marketing. It just means that measurement is lagging the reality of discovery, so it's not doom and gloom. The customer journey keeps the same ingredients: problem recognition, evaluation, social proof, risk reduction. But now it's non-linear and often invisible to your analytics. That's okay. The world is changing, you'll adapt. The work shifts from trying to capture every touch to designing for remembered trust. You win by being the answer they remember when they return. In 2005, the most durable brands were built on community gravity. They earned attention through relationships, service, and consistent expertise. It was a new time. They didn't scale by tricking a crawler, they scaled by becoming essential to a niche. Yes, there were black hat tactics, and there always will be, but if you wanted to build a really good business, you'd see those businesses at events, hear them on talk shows, or you'd read about them in respected publications, and then eventually you get introduced to them by peers who actually use their stuff. The same pattern applies today. Show up where your market gathers, digitally and physically. Put out what's valuable, quotable, and not just publishable. Collaborate with credible third parties who will validate your claims. And my favorite, create experiences so useful that people want to document and share them. Let those signals accumulate across the right channels and across the open web. Because after all, that's the data set generative engines drink from. Now the paradox here is that GEO is a lot more human than it sounds. Because the irony of this algorithmic future is that it rewards human qualities: clarity, generosity, courage, and consistency. Clarity because vague claims die in conversational search, in the open sea of vast generality. Generosity matters because people cite what helps them. Courage matters because strong points of view travel further than watered down takes. And consistency matters because authority grows through repetition across time and channels. If you want to win, you got to show up. Now, if that sounds like hard work, that's because it is. But it's durable work. It's work that can be done. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. The outputs you create, like research, frameworks, comparisons, explainers, playbooks, whatever it is, these things build compounding equity. Each credible mention strengthens the next. Each useful artifact gets referenced by new voices. And over time, you'll become the default answer for the questions that matter in your niche, industry, and your market. That's how you'll win. A new industry in online marketing is forming. And this time it's going from $100 billion market cap to $1 trillion market cap. It's a great time to be a marketer. Scary, but still a great time. And just as SEO spawned analytics suites, content platforms, technical services, and specialized roles, GEO will spawn its own stack on top of that. Intent research, answer design, brand mention intelligence, consensus mapping, and generative quality assurance. The stakes are bigger because the interface is more intimate. When a model speaks your name in the answer box, that's not a blue link, that's a recommendation, that's trust building. And we're still in the early innings. Like every new industry, early movers set the standards. They define quality, establish benchmarks, and earn the anchor citations others copy. If you build now on credibility, not on shortcuts, you'll own a disproportionate share of the future internet, of the surface area when this market fully evolves and matures. So what does all of this mean for your marketing strategy? Think less about gaming and more about gravity. Ask, what proof would convince a skeptical expert? And then build that proof in public. Turn your best customers into champions. Turn your best customer outcomes into narratives that others can cite. Partner with respected communities. Publish explainers that answer the exact questions customers look for. And trust me, customers across a wide market will whisper the exact same things to AI. Design every asset to be quotable, linkable, and reusable by third parties who don't owe you a favor. Give those third parties value and they will exchange something in return. But also remember to breathe. The fundamentals did not disappear. In business, they'll never disappear. They'll just change a little bit and they'll clarify. Be easy to understand, be everywhere your niche pays attention, and be relentlessly helpful. If SEO is about getting found, GEO is about getting remembered. And the way you get remembered is by being worth talking about when no one is prompting you. So being a content factory matters less. Still kind of important, but certainly matters less. Start thinking like a source. Sources don't chase trends, they set them. They show their work, they invite scrutiny, they invite challenge, they participate in the community they want to lead. If you adopt that posture, the signals generative engines seek, like credible mentions, expert backup, durable usefulness, begin to assemble around you, and you'll see all of that progress snowball. And so that's the return to 2005. Fewer hacks, more humanity. Fewer tactics, more trust. The brands that welcome this shift won't just ride the $1 trillion wave, they're going to shape it, and they're going to shape our future. All right, that's it for this video. I hope I helped clear things up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Jason Patel of Open4j AI, and we help your business get seen, cited, and selected by AI search engines. Leave your questions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.